With people gathering for the holiday season, it gives us a lot of opportunities to have conversations about preparedness. However, many people are not concerned with it, so how do we make them into preppers? Well, in this video, I'm going to give you the gateway drug for how to get people started with SHTF prepping. Hey everybody! It's Magic Prepper, and today we're talking about how to get started with SHTF prepping, especially for how to make preppers out of the people within our lives that refuse to believe in preparedness as being an important concept. This is a big deal because right now during the holidays, you're going to have opportunities to talk with your friends, your relatives, your family members about preparedness. But it's sometimes hard to change people's minds in the sense of why they should prepare or where they should even get started. And even though someone might be willing to try to be better prepared, they might not know where to start, and the whole concept is so overwhelming that they decide that it's just not worth their time or investment. And if you have people in your family or in your friend circle or anyone who's close to you that doesn't prepare and you would like them to, then hit the subscribe button below and maybe share this video with them so that you can get some ideas about how to make them into preppers, and that maybe they can get some ideas about where to start with this whole SHTF prepping situation. Now, the gateway drug to preparedness, and I'm going to tell you it because it's very addictive and it is something that will cost you a lot of money, a lot of time, and a lot of sacrifice, and it will make you a different person on the other side, is going to be a bug out bag. Bug out bags are the best way, in my opinion, to get new preppers started with SHTF prepping. And it's because it's not such an overwhelming task that they feel that it's not worth doing. And it's something that can be very exciting and also interesting for new preppers to put together. Working on a bug out bag can give you a lot of different ideas about preparedness. It can also cover a lot of bases when it comes to your basic level of readiness for any kind of emergency. And it doesn't have to be related to something so grandiose as a world-ending event. We can talk about bug out bags in the sense of being ready for an earthquake or being ready for a hurricane or something that's more realistic to somebody who's very skeptical about the idea of preparedness. Bug out bags are also exciting because once you start loading one up, you get all kinds of gadgets and tools and gear that is a little bit more niche but also has basic survival applications. And people get more and more excited by each piece of gear that is added. And the best part about it is that once you start loading a bug out bag, it never stops. And eventually they just keep getting better gear or new gear or other ideas about what they really should have in their bag, and it eventually blossoms into full-blown preparedness. Now, the reason I'm making this video is because I'm going through all my bags and I'm starting to consolidate, change some ideas that I've had in the past, and here very shortly I will be releasing some new bug out bag videos with some of the same bags you might have seen before, but with different gear and equipment more suited to what's going on in the world these days. So definitely keep an eye out for those videos. But what I want you to understand is that if you want to get someone started with SHTF prepping and you want to make a prepper out of somebody, this is your best avenue. Get them started with a bug out bag. It doesn't have to be expensive, it doesn't have to be anything crazy, but just the basic idea of it can help somebody enter the realm of preparedness. Listen, spending a couple $100s on a bug out bag is a much more reasonable idea to somebody who doesn't prepare at all than trying to tell someone they need to get a year's worth of food, they need to have backup power supplies, they need to have all kinds of stuff in their armory, and now you're talking about thousands and thousands of dollars and tons of time invested, all for something that they already don't think will be a big deal or might ever happen. And that is a very hard argument to have. So start small and it will blossom into something much bigger. And the bug out bag is great because if somebody doesn't have preparedness at all, right? You don't have any water, you don't have any food or anything like that, but they at least have a bug out bag, it can get them from point A to point B, which is a great start. So if everything falls apart, they have something, right? Which is better than most people. And then that something might take them to the next place where there is some more. And that's a big topic that you need to cover because they won't have all the things that you and I might have yet, right? The food supply, the water storage, or any of those things. But if they at least have this, they have some peace of mind, and this introduces them to the idea of why they might need those things. So to me, the gateway drug you're looking for to get anybody started with preparedness is gonna be a bug out bag. And when you're at your holiday get-togethers this year, make sure you're having these conversations and offer to help somebody build a bug out bag if they don't have one, and explain the reasonings behind why it's important to have. And of course, you can have a get-home bag or an inch bag or whatever bag you want to put together, but at the end of the day, a survival kit within a bag that lasts at least 72 hours is a good way to start. And don't forget, this is all the stuff that is very important to both you and I, but it's not going to be very important to these people. So there are some things you want to definitely touch base on when it comes to levels of priority and importance. And one thing you don't want to cheap out on is going to be first aid, because a lot of times people buy a crappy Coleman first aid kit, throw it in a bag and say, well, I'm covered now. But those Band-Aids are probably not going to do crap for you in a real emergency. You need ways to treat real wounds when that time occurs. So make sure that you're checking out higher quality components when it comes to first aid. And that's another entry-level thing that gets people pushed into preparedness, because once you go down that road of learning about first aid and medical and everything else, that never ends either. And it definitely helps segue them into becoming better prepared for a lot more realistic scenarios in the sense of getting hurt. And yes, I do support Refuge Medical, and if you want to check out their stuff, it's extremely high quality. It'll get somebody exactly what they need when it comes to first aid, and if you use the code MAGIC over there, you get 10% off your order. So you really can't go wrong with that. But at the end of the day, if you're looking for ideas about bug out bags or how to get started with some budget-friendly options, and maybe you want to build a bug out bag for somebody in your group or in your family or one of your friends in order to kind of help push them into the genre, then check out my links below in the description as well as the pinned comment, because you can go to my Amazon storefront. Even if you don't buy from Amazon, which is totally understandable, you can at least get some ideas about different types of products and gear that are available out there that'll help you build out an entire bug out bag and basically make it easy for you. So that was my whole concept in building out that bug out bag section within the storefront to help people kind of get started with prepping. If I had to start my best friend tomorrow with prepping and I wanted them to be into the genre and into the concept as best as I could, the very first thing I would do is help them build a bug out bag. And I really do think it's a gateway drug, because honestly, for me, it was one of the first things I ever did. And having a bug out bag made me feel a lot better. It made me feel like if things really happened, I could walk out my front door, face all the challenges that are gonna be there now, and survive whatever kind of apocalypse it is we're dealing with. Now, that might have been a little naive, but what I can say is that started all of this, and here we are now, and I'm not upset about it. But at the same time, imagine how many people you could affect in that same similar way if you help them with their first prepping step, which in my opinion, the best way to go, and the gateway drug, which definitely opens you up to a lot of other preparedness drugs in the sense of time and investment and money and everything else that comes with any kind of addiction. The best thing to do is start with the bug out bag. So, hopefully this helps you, and hopefully this gives you an idea about how to get those people on board, because that is a big deal. We need our groups on board. We need our friends, our family, and those who we care about on board, so that when this all happens, which we all feel like is getting closer and closer to happening, we have more and more people on our side who are ready to rock and can actually bring something to the table. And even if all they bring is a bug out bag, that's 10 times better than 95% of everyone else on the planet when it comes to them showing up at your door. And that is something you should definitely consider as a possibility. So, without anything else to say about the Prepper Gateway drug and why it's a bug out bag and why, if you want to start SHTF prepping, this is where you go. That's going to be it for Magic Prep.